previous video, we read from the SDA Encyclopedia that the church had indeed advocated for country living. In 1946, a Commission on Rural Living was formed, and the books Country Living and From City to Country were published. The encyclopedia article continues, between 1947 and 1950, a number of articles written by such Seventh-day Adventist leaders as V.G. Anderson, M.L. Rice, C.B. Haynes, A.W. Spaulding, and E.A. Sutherland encouraged SDAs to move out of the cities into the country. Columbia Union Visitor, February 20, 1947. The article is entitled Getting Away from the Cities by Carlisle B. Haynes. It reads, a very considerable number of Seventh-day Adventists living in cities in response to the instruction contained in the pamphlets Country Living have sought and satisfactorily found opportunities and homes and jobs in rural locations. Continuing, it is most encouraging as various city churches are visited to find many others still seeking such opportunities. Information is constantly coming in to the Commission on Rural Living regarding homes, jobs, business opportunities, and farms in the country. These are listed alphabetically by states and are sent out without cost to any of our members who request this service and who are interested in getting away from the cities. We are now preparing our fourth list of such opportunities. Central Union Reaper, March 15, 1949. In the article entitled Opportunities for Country Living, we get a little more detail as to what's in this catalog. It says between 1,000 and 1,200 persons ask for these listings and they have proved of real benefit. Send in your information now. Please be brief. Do not write long, detailed descriptions of properties. Leave out the adjectives. Never mind the scenic advantages. Just tell us what you have: acreage, how much tillable, location, number of rooms, conveniences, whether electricity or running water, price, proximity to church and school, or what kind of a job or opening. Make it short. Hurry to us the information you have. It may be of real help. And no colonization programs, please. No real estate promotion. Just genuine opportunities which may enable city dwellers to answer the urgent call. Get out of the large cities as fast as possible. Pacific Union Recorder, Angwin, California, December 5, 1949. Title: Rural Living Institutes. It has been voted by the Pacific Union Conference Committee to hold 2 institutes for the Commission on Rural Living and Self-Supporting Institutions. The first of these institutes will be held in Glendale, December 18th and 19th at the Glendale Sanitarium Church. The second at Lodi, California, December 21st and 22nd. All who are interested in rural living and soil building are invited to attend. As far as possible, the conference departmental secretaries and church pastors should attend one of these institutes. The Record, March 1, 1950. Title: Rural Living Meeting. On December 29, 1949, the first meeting of the secretaries of the Commission on Rural Living in the Southwestern Union Conference was held in Fort Worth, Texas. The objectives of the Commission on Rural Living were set forth in the following manner. 1. To help our people see the necessity of carrying out God's original plan of living in the rural areas. 2. To help our people to see how this change from cities to rural areas can be made successful. The cities are to be worked from rural outposts. 3. To encourage our people already living in the country to give sympathetic help to the city folk who come to the country with little background of rural living. Another action was taken concerning the establishment of study groups in our local churches. This action is as follows. Voted to recommend the formation of study groups on rural living in local churches. The operation of these groups is to be under the direction of the pastor and church board. it being understood that the conference secretary of the Commission on Rural Living should give counsel to these study groups. 4. That the study group be designated as Rural Living Study Group. The article continued, "I believe it is time, brethren and sisters, for us to give study to this very important question. Would it not be well for a Rural Living Study Group to be organized in all of our large city churches?" A considerable amount of literature is available for these study groups and more is in preparation. At the present time, the General Conference Commission on Rural Living is developing study outlines which can be followed by these study groups. Review and Herald, January 4, 1951. The Commission on Rural Living by E.A. Sutherland. Shortly before laying down his duties as Secretary of the Commission on Rural Living, Dr. Sutherland wrote a comprehensive report of the work of the Commission, and we are presenting a summary of his report herewith, editors. Among the first duties assigned the Commission on Rural Living by the General Conference was the organization of the self-supporting groups into an association called the Seventh-day Adventist Association of Self-Supporting Institutions. A new field of activity. When the General Conference created the Commission, it was entering upon a new and untried field of activity. For the first time in years, we faced the problem of urging our people to change from city to country living. And this was to be done without undue pressure. There must be no mass movement, no emotional fear, but a quiet, solid movement as a result of conversion on the part of our people to a manner of life outlined for us in the spirit of prophecy. Leading our people out of the great centers of population to small farms is only a part of the problem. This movement is not intended merely to improve the material condition of individuals and their families. The greater objective includes this, and at the same time emphasizes the importance of so grouping families and individuals that the move to the country forms an efficient outpost center from which that same city can be worked more effectively than it can be if the members are living in the city. We must not forget the importance of having memorials in our large cities, of course, but to fulfill the plan outlined for us, a large part of the work must be done by the people living in the outpost centers. During the past 4 years, we have succeeded in establishing a Department of Rural Living in each Union Conference in North America with a Union Secretary. In addition, 26 local conferences have secretaries. This makes it possible for the General Conference Commission to work through the local conference organization. By working the cities from outpost centers, we can unite with the established organization in giving God's last message to the world. The country movement calls for the closest union between the organized and the self-supporting work. Lake Union Herald, December 15, 1953. Title: People Must Be Educated to Get Out of the Cities by Wesley Amundsen, General Conference Secretary, Association of Self-Supporting Institution. There is to be no letdown in our work of encouraging Seventh-day Adventists to leave the cities. However, we need to set in motion an educational program which will help city people to know how to live on the land. Most of our city people know nothing about planting, cultivating, or harvesting crops. They are not acquainted with methods of agriculture, whether it be gardening a small tract of ground or farming many acres. There have been disastrous examples of families leaving the cities for places in the country due to the fact that they were not ready for the transition and knew nothing of how to cope with the problems of country living. The counsel is to educate our people to leave the cities. This educational process will have to be developed in every city church, and wherever there are Seventh-day Adventists living in the cities. It means that conferences will need to give more attention to the counsel of the Lord out of the cities. It means that educational institutions will need to gear themselves for the training of youth in the practical arts of agriculture. It means that garden clubs and groups interested in rural living are to be developed in the city churches. It means that city people should be encouraged to take trips into the country, where they can visit farms, gardens, and such agriculture centers as may appeal to them. It means that Seventh-day Adventist farmers and gardeners who are now successful in their pursuits and who have an eye single to the purpose of God will need to lend their efforts in this educational plan by inviting city dwellers to come and visit their farms. It means that rural living will become as much a part of our general teaching and promotion as our education, health, home missionary activities, Sabbath school, temperance, young people's missionary volunteer endeavors, religious liberty, evangelism, and other kindred fields of Christian activity. He continues, rural living is a part of the third angel's message, and as such, it is important. The same angel that instructed God's messenger, Sister E.G. White, to write volumes in regard to the education of our children and youth, also instructed her in the important phase of Christian living for these last days. But the plan of rural living is not to be agitated on an extreme emotional basis. There are to be no rash moves. There are to be no fiery speeches which would hurry our people from the cities without giving them adequate preparation for the exodus. The program must be educational. Thousands of our people will be content to remain in the cities until the passage of Sunday laws forces them to flee. At the best, we can but hope that a certain percentage of our people now in the cities will take advantage of present opportunities for leaving the cities. Nevertheless, we must be charitable with those who remain in the cities. Some will have to carry on missionary work in behalf of the city people. Churches will continue to be established in the cities to care for the incoming converts. At the same time, we would urge those who are now interested in country living and who still live in the cities to do all they can to prepare themselves for their places in the country. The following counsel is worthy of careful consideration. Think candidly, prayerfully, studying the word with all carefulness and prayerfulness, with mind and heart awake to hear the voice of God. To understand the will of God is a great thing. We are happy to announce that plans are already underway for such an educational movement. The Lake Union Conference has recently taken action endorsing the plan of having an agricultural and rural living workshop, December 29th through 31st, 1953, at Emmanuel Missionary College, Berrien Springs, Michigan. The local conference presidents of that union at a committee meeting expressed themselves as being favorable to the idea. Since this is clear, please, if you have not done so already, commit to prayerfully reading the book Country Living. You can start today even if it's just the first page. If you have already begun to read the book, please share this information so others can be informed and then join us in this study.